Welcome to Tampa's historic Ybor City, cradle of Cuban independence. You should be standing right now in front of a historic marker at the base of the José Martí steps, on the sidewalk right in front of the Vicente Martínez Ybor cigar factory. This was the second factory built by Mr. Ybor, who founded Ybor City in 1886. He built his first cigar factory at the corner of 7th Avenue and 13th Street, which was a two-story wooden structure. Later, that wooden structure became El Circulo Cubano. It's just 2 blocks from where you are now standing. When completed in 1887, this 3-story brick building was the largest structure in the state of Florida. With the arrival of Mr. Martínez Ybor and the other cigar manufacturers who followed, Tampa became a boom town. The population increased from less than 800 in 1880 to 6,000 in 1890, a population increase of over 760%. In the early days of Ybor City and the cigar industry, most of the cigar workers were Cuban. Many of them came to Ybor City from Key West, where Mr. Ybor and other cigar manufacturers had set up factories to escape the 10-year war in Cuba. That war for Cuban independence began in 1868 and ended in 1878 with an uneasy truce. Many Cuban exiles who came to Ybor City, including José Martí, a man who would become the apostle of Cuban liberty, José Martí still dreamed of liberating Cuba from Spanish rule. On November 26, 1891, José Martí, then only 38 years old, came to Tampa for the first time at the invitation of 2 Cuban patriotic clubs that had been formed right here in Ybor City. Martí had gained fame as a writer, poet, and journalist while living and working in New York City. The Cuban patriots of Tampa, including Ramón Rivero and Néstor Carbonell, hoped that Martí would help to rejuvenate the independence movement. And that's exactly what he did in a 4-year period, with some 20 visits to this Cuban community of Ybor City, neighboring West Tampa, and on to Key West. His 2 first speeches, delivered at the Circulo Cubano on 7th Avenue, formerly the home of Martínez Ybor's first wooden cigar factory, received a rousing endorsement from the Cuban community and led to the formation of the Cuban Revolutionary Party. As the historic marker indicates, Martí raised money for the Revolutionary Party, and other cigar workers exchanged the chaveta for the machete and enlisted in the Cuban Revolutionary Army of Independence. On these steps, Martí posed for a famous photograph with the Ybor City cigar workers who supported the cause of Cuban independence. By 1896, 1 year after Martí had died in battle, the cigar workers had established 30 revolutionary clubs in Ybor City, such as the Disciples of Martí, and another 11 in West Tampa. These clubs collected funds in the cigar factories, purchased arms and munitions, and recruited soldiers. The Cubans of Tampa were so active in the cause of Cuba Libre that one Spanish general called Tampa, quote, the very heart of the American conspiracy. As it happened, at the start of the Spanish-American War, Tampa also became the staging ground for a United States Army under the command of General William R. Shafter. An army of over 60,000 men invaded eastern Cuba in late June of 1898 and brought the War of Cuban Independence to a successful conclusion. The Cubans of Tampa have contributed so much to this victory, wanted to press for the cause of Cuba Libre even after the Spanish flag was lowered in Havana. Towards that end, the Cubans of Tampa came together on October the 10th, 1899, the 31st anniversary of the Grito de Yara, and formed el Club Nacional Cubano. The headquarters of this organization was located across the street, where the Don Vicente Inn now stands. It was formerly El Bien Público Clinic. At the time, it had served as the office for the Ybor City Development Corporation. This club, El Club Nacional Cubano, was the predecessor of the Cuban Club. It was to represent the interests of the Cuban colony of Tampa. The Cuban communities of Ybor City and West Tampa can claim with pride to be the cradle of Cuban independence.